What's going on, everybody? Gerald Moore Jr. here. I'm the host of the Ohio Cannabis Report, and I want to be the first from this platform to say, hey, we did it, Ohio. I'm in the library, so I can't scream too loud, but we did it. Ohio, as of 2 days ago, became an adult use legal state where you can purchase and possess and consume cannabis. Obviously, there's no place to purchase yet unless you have a medical marijuana card, medical cannabis card. So I highly suggest and recommend folks still get a medical card because I think at least for 90 days, that's the only place that you can get your cannabis in Ohio legally. Obviously, you can get it from a plug. You can go up to Michigan, I guess. But again, these are ways that if you get caught, right, you can get in trouble. Whatever you decide to do in the privacy of your own home, the privacy of your being, that's on you. But we did it. I mean, you got to think hundreds of years or 60 years of prohibition. This has been a long time coming for us to finally have adult use cannabis legalization here in Ohio. And the politicians obviously have fought against it hard. And I don't, they're still fighting. But one thing that I do want to commend the cannabis community, advocates, people on the ground, patients for using their voice, man, and stepping up these last few weeks, especially because uh, the politicians, they don't want adult use, right? They don't want home grow. They don't want social equity. They don't want what we voted in. And so issue 2 was overwhelmingly voted over 57 or about 57% of votes for legalization for issue 2. And so there were articles basically where politicians were stating that, the voters didn't understand what they had voted for. Uh, and so they think that Ohioans are idiots, right? And so I'm just going to read over some articles from what's been going on the last couple days, just to get you guys caught up to speed. But make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure you guys like and comment. Also, if you guys want to be on the channel, on the platform, hit me up. Follow us on Instagram as well. You can follow us at Ohio Cannabis Report on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, Ohio Cannabis Report, or Ohio Canna Report. And we're also on TikTok. We're not as active on TikTok. I'm more active on Instagram. We do lives and then we just do updated content, post memes and stuff like that. But try to be a community, build a community on there. So this article is from the Akron Beacon Journal, Ohio Weed Legalization 2023, the latest on the state's new marijuana law. So Ohioans voted in November to pass issue 2, officially legalizing marijuana, cannabis for recreational use in the state. And while the law took effect December 7th, countless questions remain about where the new program goes from here as Ohio lawmakers look into changing portions of the statute. Reporting from the Akron Beacon Journal, let me see. So what does Ohio recreational marijuana law currently say? By passing issue 2, Ohioans voted to make the issue, possession, and sale of recreational marijuana legal for adults aged 21 and over. Dispensaries will eventually be able to sell an array of recreational products, including flowers, seeds, edibles, vapes, tinctures, oils, beverages, pills, and lotions. In addition to being able to purchase marijuana products for recreational use, adults 21 and over will be permitted to grow up to 6 plants individually and no more than 12 in a household with multiple adults. Issue 2 states that it will be legal to possess up to 2.5 ounces of cannabis and 15 grams of extracts. Ohio became the 24th state to pass recreational marijuana law with the vote. It took effect December 7th, 2023. Ohio lawmakers want to make changes to issue two for legal marijuana. Although the majority of voters decided to allow legal use of recreational marijuana, legislators, primarily GOP lawmakers, have been grappling with the law and what they want or don't want to have to go into effect. So the Ohio way, Governor Mike DeWine wants changes to issue two to do legal marijuana the Ohio way. Boom. Legal weed reaction, Westchester Township bans marijuana sale, cultivation ahead of new law taking effect. Banning dispensaries, Ohio cities want to ban recreational marijuana dispensaries. Can they? Home grow, GOP lawmakers in Ohio Senate divided on allowing Ohioans to grow marijuana at home. Major changes, Ohio senators want to make major changes to marijuana law okayed by voters. Acts home grow, voters versus legislature. Ohio voters approved a new recreational marijuana law. Why can the legislature change it? Possible changes. Ohio Senate wants to change marijuana law before it takes effect. So these are just some of the articles. Um, Columbus marijuana users enjoy their first legal puffs at Fire It Up Friday. After years of enjoying a pair in the shadows, pizza and pot lovers came together publicly Friday night to celebrate. Close to 40 people spread out through gourmet pizza, spacious patio, as the intermingling aromas of pizza, a bonfire, and burning weed punctuated the air. An atmosphere of the Italian Village restaurant. Fired Up Friday was a gathering to celebrate the end of marijuana prohibition, which took effect Thursday after legalization. Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of questions. For anybody in Ohio, I answered it. You can't legally purchase cannabis at the medical marijuana dispensaries just yet, unless you're a medical cannabis card user. You can grow your own right now. So you could have been growing and then you could, dry out your cannabis, however you get it, right? Um, so people just have to understand that, legally you can possess it, you can consume it, you can have it on your person. How you got it, you ain't got to tell nobody. Where you got it from, you ain't got to tell nobody, but you have it, okay? Um, but to the people that are involved and want to use their power as citizens, I advise you to contact Senator Michael Ruley, contact your state representative, and let them know that you want issue two the way that it was proposed, the way the bill is written, right? We want home growth, 6 to 12 plants. We want to be able to consume publicly. Obviously, we want to be mindful of children. We want to be mindful of people, but I don't think you're just gonna have mobs of people walking around smoking weed outside in public around a bunch of kids. I see kids in the bar all the time. We don't worry about alcohol being around kids. I've seen nurses consume cigarettes outside of hospitals. But again, I mean, this is a touchy subject for a lot of people. But also, we also know from the cannabis community, all cannabis consumption is not combustion. I'm all for health and wellness. So if combustion isn't good for your health and wellness, I say consume or vaporize your product or have edibles. Something else that was touched on in the hearings was gummy bears. I know Ohio Cannabis Live, Anthony Riley pointed this out. Shout out to Mastermind. But in the medical program, we don't have gummy bears, right? We have gummies, and they look like, they're a circle or they're square or rectangle, and they have the THC emblem on it. So most of the cannabis products that are edibles in the Ohio market aren't shaped like gummy bears, where a kid would be confused. Also, the packaging already in the Ohio cannabis program is not geared or marketing towards children. And so I know a lot of the stuff that's on the illicit market, the legacy market, they do a lot of different graphics and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the kiddie graphics and cartoons and stuff like that, but I know it exists. And so those are the things that typically would trip up some kids. Um, but again, I think it's important that we focus also on education. We should be really gearing our conversation towards education. It's not that we should be telling kids not to consume cannabis. It should be us be telling them that, hey, cannabis is a potential therapeutic for you if you need it. But we have to teach them what it is. We also must be teaching parents, doctors, educators on what cannabis truly is. Because a lot of people hear cannabis and they just assume that people are one way, right? Cannabis helps with a myriad of issues. It helps with therapeutic issues. It helps with pain management. Some people may not go to therapy. Some people may not have access to the best doctors. And so they may self-prescribe themselves, or they may be self-medicating. And so cannabis it offers relief for people dealing with grief, trauma, pain, anxiety, depression, nausea, maybe irritable bowel syndrome, maybe you're dealing with something like that. And so I suggest we be mindful when we're talking about people in the cannabis industry. We talk about cannabis patients. Also, if you're a cannabis consumer, now is the best time to come out of the shadows and have intelligent conversations around the plant, have conversations around your health and well-being and how cannabis helps your health and well-being. Obviously, we've had issues where cannabis has been a problem, but the only reason cannabis has truly been a problem is because people think that, oh, these guys are lazy or people dealing with certain things. And it's like, well, a lot of times it's just being judgmental. We don't know what people are dealing with. And a lot of times it's not the fact that people are stoned, it's that people smell, right? A lot of people don't like the smell. How many times have I heard, like, it's not about me being high, it's about the smell. You stink. Or, if I'm consuming outside, the smell, right? Some people are sensitive to that smell, just like, I mean, tobacco or anything else. So, or trash, right? It's understandable. Um, but other than that, man, like I just wanted to say, I just wanted to come on YouTube and say, man, we did it. But the fight's not over. The fight is definitely not over. And there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of education that needs to be had, and we need more people actively advocating on the behalf of issue two publicly, because there's a lot that can happen when you use your voice publicly. I've been using my voice publicly through these social media platforms in hopes that other people would use their voice, in hopes that other people would go speak to their politicians and just get involved. I'm not asking everybody to be on my side. I'm not asking everybody to have my same thought process or opinions on it. I just want more voices to be heard, because I think it's important, especially when we get into the fact that people are using this as a medicine, as a form of healing, as a form of health and well-being. And it can kind of do the opposite when you are negatively impacted by people's opinions or thoughts or voices, or you're keeping that side of you hidden. Because I know I did for years. I know I didn't talk about my cannabis use for, well over a decade. I didn't really start talking about it publicly until we got legalization 4 years ago. Uh, but when I did begin to talk about it, man, was it a weight lifted off my shoulders, y'all. I felt such a release, such a relief, that I could share, this amazing plant that I've been consuming and that I've had friends that consume, and we have a good time. Um, but I felt that sense of relief where I could talk about it, and not feel chastised or not feel like I was breaking the law, or that somebody, was going to come arrest me, or that I was going to lose jobs or opportunities based on me expressing, my cannabis consumption, and then being able to publicly consume as well and show people that on a public space. Um, because a lot of times as Black men specifically, like, we have to carry ourselves a certain way. We have to appease to certain things, to be accepted in certain worlds, right? So I think, it's a huge step, man. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's used their voice, everybody who's used their platform, everybody who's created a platform, created community, done events all over the state, man. I know there's people all over the state. If you're watching this and you're from Ohio or wherever you're from, let me know. We'll do a roll call. Let me know where y'all tuning in from, where y'all tapping in from. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, definitely tap in. Let me know what part of the state you're from. Let me know if you're a part of the cannabis industry, if you want to be a part of the cannabis industry, what you want to do. Do you want to be a homegrown caregiver? Do you want to be somebody that sells seeds? Do you want to be an educator in the space? Are you a brand maker in the space? Are you a lifestyle brand maker? Do you do events? Do you help people with expungements? There are all types of people out here doing great work. Shout out to everybody. I mean, in the state, there's a lot of people across the state doing great work. I'm gonna shout out some people that I've seen and I've met through this journey. Shout out to my guy Broderick Randall. He helped me start the platform, Ohio Cannabis Report. He's been doing great work on the ground floor, working for Leaves. Also, he's a sickle cell warrior, so he's been doing a lot of education on just how cannabis helps sickle cell patients. He's also a published author in the Courage in Cannabis book. Piggybacking off of that, shout out to Dr. Bridget Williams, who's a cannabis doctor here in Ohio and Michigan. Shout out to everybody who she has in the book, all the Ohio folks that are published in Courage in Cannabis Volume 1 and 2. Shout out to Andrew, my guy Andy, who's, I think, a lot of people look up to Andy in the community. He's been one of my go-to guys for the last few years. Shout out to all the people working in the industry. Shout out to Ohio Canna Women, Allie Reeves. Allie's really been hustling on the ground floor, like truly grinding, putting together events and putting together medical marijuana events that have been greenlit by the state. I know that work isn't easy, making sure everything is compliant. So I know she does great work. She's put together a lot of great events that brought a lot of business folks together, a lot of entrepreneurs, patients. She's also helping folks with expungements, getting their records clean, and also jobs, helping people get jobs, and helping people get cost-effective medical cards because it can get expensive. And I believe a lot of the reason why a lot of people aren't getting their med cards is because it's so expensive, and some people just simply don't know. I believe people don't know where to get a med card, that they can get a med card, and so I think there's just a lot of holes that people are trying to fill. Shout out to Anthony Mastermind. Follow Ohio Cannabis Live on all the platforms, ohiocannabislive.com. He's been doing great work as a media person, as a journalist per se in the industry, going around to the different dispensaries, having conversations with legislators, and really using his voice. He's been a real big advocate. And anybody else, man, there's a lot of people to really thank that I've been able to connect with. And I know it's been a journey. Somebody wrote on the Instagram earlier that, they've been working in this field for 40 years, right? Like I've only been alive for 34 of those years. So thanks to everybody, all the OGs, man, all the OGs doing work. And now's the real work, right? Now's, making sure the industry looks is equitable, making sure, we obviously expunge records, we help restore the lives of citizens that have been lost because of cannabis, right? I think, and that's been one of my biggest reasons why I've been wanting cannabis to be legalized, is because there's been so much injustice done on the back of cannabis, throwing somebody's life away or locking somebody up for cannabis consumption, and characterizing them as a bad person or evil person, or saying somebody is a drug addict or a drug trafficker, which is what we see a lot. People have lost children, people have lost kids, you know, people have lost opportunities because of cannabis. And, you know, it got to a point where you can't even explain to people like, hey, yes, I'm consuming cannabis because it helps me, right? Um, I'm not doing it because it's illegal. I'm not doing it because I want to hurt people. I'm doing it because I'd rather consume this plant than some pills that could potentially kill me, or consuming alcohol that could potentially, I could become addicted to. Uh, you know, I believe anybody addiction is more of a mental thing. So yes, cannabis probably you can consume too much, but you're not going to die from it. You know, you can consume as much cannabis as you want to, and you're not going to die, because at a certain point, like you're going to stop consuming it. You know what I mean? You get to a point where you maxed out how high you could get, and now some people are looking for a stronger high, and oftentimes that's just coming from because they're dealing with some, extreme pains, or people, maybe dealing with other things. So, um, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done, but I mean, this is a major step. This is a major step. So, shout out to Ohio. This is one time I'll do OH. But yeah, definitely check us out, man. It's my first video on YouTube since we got legalization. I've been consuming. I kind of took a break too, man. Like it's been exhausting, being on these platforms every single day, and trying to not only just educate people, but inspire, motivate, empower people, uh, to get on board by using their voices, man. So I want to thank everybody who's shown me love on Ohio Cannabis Report. I want to thank everybody who's shown the book love, Ohio, Courage in Cannabis. And thanks to everybody who's been following the wave and following the platform. Uh, Till the next time, we out. Peace.